Hello, everyone, and welcome back to House 67 Productions Philadelphia Sports Roundtable. I'm Jason Fridge, joined as always by my lovely co-host. On my left here, Mr. Ryan Chybinski. We have a special guest on my right, Eddie M himself, Mr. Eddie Martins. Fellas, it is a great time to be a Philadelphia sports fan, to say the least. We all got our Phillies gear on. Shout out Ryan. He gave me the World Series sweatshirt. But Ryan, talking about the Phillies, Game 3 and Game 4 happening at Citizens Bank Park. What was the vibe? I think you were there for one of the games. You've been in the area. Just how have we been feeling as a fan base throughout these games?
I mean, it's been absolutely electric. I mean, going to Xfinity for Game 1, getting to be there, listening to everybody singing Dancing on My Own. Everybody knew every word. The city's ready to explode, ready to climb some light poles. It's very similar to the vibe we had back in 2018 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Obviously, it got dampened a little bit with the loss in the most recent game, getting shut out in the no-hit, but I think that the Phillies are going to rebound big time in this next game, and they're going to take Justin Verlander to the cleaners.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough game in Game 4, but Game 3 saw the Broad Street Bombers come out. Eddie, what was your reaction throughout that game?
It was such a roller coaster of events. I mean, starting with Harper's home run, like he just saw that pitch coming. Like he was waiting on that breaking ball, and he smashed it to right field. The rest of the guys, just like top to bottom of the order, all contributed, and Marsh's home run obviously went out of the park. But, yeah, they look good, and their pitching has been unbelievable. Their bullpen has been unbelievable instead of last night. But I think we're good. I think the winner of this game tonight wins the series, because if the Phillies lose tonight, I do not believe they are going to win 2 straight in Houston. So it's going to be interesting.
I would agree there. The big question on the mound for me is going to be Noah Syndergaard. How does he perform under the bright lights? I mean, we saw Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola, the 2 aces for the Phillies, crumble under the bright lights of the World Series. What happens to Noah Syndergaard, excuse me? Is he going to step up and continue to be the pitcher that he used to be? Or is he going to crumble under the lights as well, and the Phillies are going to go down in a hole again and have to rally back? That's my big question for tonight.
Yeah. And I'd agree with Eddie. I mean, winning 2 games in Houston, if the Phillies lose Game 5 and take a 3-2 deficit, that's going to be hard to come back on. And the thing that has kept them in this series, we talk about their offense all the time, all the home runs, but it's been their defense. Shutting out the Astros in Game 3 was a great sign. The only thing is that the following day, they had no offense, and they couldn't keep up with a fast-hitting Astros offense.
Absolutely. One thing I thought was interesting is Rob Thomas mentioned in his post-game press conference that he went into the clubhouse and he said, look, we got shut out by the Mets earlier on in the season, and what did we do? We turned around and beat the crap out of them the next day. So that's the vibe that this team has. They rallied behind Philly Rob. Firing Joe Girardi was the right move, and this Phillies team is fired up. I don't believe that they're going to come out and get shut out again tonight. I think they'll hit the ball very well. I think you're going to see the offense explode. Will we see the same 5 home runs we saw in the previous game? No. But we will see this Phillies offense come to life, and I think that this is a Phillies win.
Also with Nick Castellanos, who has been ice cold in this World Series, what do you expect from him striking out, I believe, 2 to 3 times last night?
He needs to lay off the first pitch, because that's how they're all going to get him to chase down in the zone like he always does on the first pitch. Castellanos needs to stop swinging at the first pitch. Bryce Harper's doing a better job of that right now. He needs to take a page from his book. Castellanos needs to be patient, look for his pitch. He doesn't have to hit a home run every time. He just needs to put the ball in play. I don't care if you loop it up the line for a single, for all it matters. Get yourself on base and give us a chance with runners in traffic, because that's what will make Justin Verlander crumble tonight.
I think that's a really good point just all around. With all of the batters, they can't be swinging for home runs on every single pitch. They have to make sure they're being patient, letting the count maybe get to 0-2, something like that, but being okay with taking a couple balls, sending line drives, getting those little plays that add up. Of course, with a no-hitter that just got put on them, it's all going to be about getting that volume of play. But moving on from the Phillies, talking about our other sport that's been going wild here in Philadelphia, how about those Eagles? 7-0 now, and a massive victory over the weekend against the Pittsburgh Steelers, 35-13. This Eagles team looks scary now. It looks like they're starting to figure out a passing game. Eddie, what do you think really worked so well in this past contest?
I mean, A.J. Brown, 3 touchdowns, making Minkah Fitzpatrick look like a rookie out there, just completely lost. His touchdown where he mossed both Minkah Fitzpatrick and the other D-back and just pointing at them like he owns them. It was absolutely insane. And, also they've been running the ball well. Their entire offense has gotten healthy. Lane is back, and some of the other guys on the O-line. So I like them to win easily tonight.
And I love seeing Jalen Hurts take a little bit more of a stand as a passing quarterback in this game. We've seen him use his feet a lot throughout the season, scrambling out of the pocket, being a dynamic threat. But now with those 4 touchdowns and almost 300 yards passing, he's opening up his play style, and defenses are going to have to respect that.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself into a single role like Lamar Jackson, who's a glorified running back for the Baltimore Ravens. You need to be able to run. Obviously, you love a dual threat quarterback because they're so hard to stop. But the ability to throw the ball with the receiving core we have, you don't want to waste those guys. You've got A.J. Brown. You've got Devontae Smith. You've got these guys on the outside who can get open, who are crazy good at creating separation. And for a quarterback to waste that and not throw the ball is utterly ridiculous, especially here in the city of Philadelphia, because the fans are going to let you know that they want you to throw the ball. And then obviously you got Miles Sanders in the backfield there. You got to hand the ball off on the RPOs, Chip Kelly style sometimes.
Yeah, and they made some big upgrades on the defensive end, too, making the trade for Robert Quinn, bolstering down on that side of the ball, which has been consistent all year long. Eddie, do you assume that we're going to continue to see that defense be a focus for them to keep building up that talent that they made a couple moves in the offseason to strengthen up as well?
Well, yeah, and especially the James Bradbury move. I think the Eagles have really invested in this defensive, not only the front, but in their secondary as well. Robert Quinn, who had 18.5 sacks last season, he only had 1 before he got traded to the Eagles, but I think, they rotate in their defensive linemen, defensive ends, and I think he'll be fresh off the line, and all of his reps he'll, take advantage of.
Yeah, the Eagles play the Texans on Thursday night, so it's Philadelphia versus Houston all week here. But now talking about the final Philadelphia team, I know it's a lot that's been doing great this season, the Union. Punching their ticket to the MLS championship. I know Ryan's a big Union guy, so I'm going to hand the mic over to him. What are we going to expect out of this game?
It's going to be a tough one for the Union, honestly. They're the top team coming out of the Eastern Conference. Obviously, the number 1 seed earned the first round bye, but they're going to have to go up against the number 1 team in the league in LAFC. LAFC absolutely dismantled Austin FC in the Western Conference Championship. I mean, Uwa's going to have to play well. Gazdag, Bedoya playing with a hip injury in that game against New York was a questionable move by Jim Curtin, in my opinion. I would have rather liked to see him sit and wait for the championship game if they make it, but obviously we'll have to wait and see if he can go again in this one. I think we might get 45 minutes out of him. We'll have to see. And then Blake's going to have to continue to step up and play stout on that back line like he has throughout the year. I mean, MLS Goaltender of the Year, show it this weekend.
Yeah, Philadelphia looks to be a city of champions in 2 different sports. World Series will be wrapping up. MLS Championship will be soon. And then maybe the Eagles can punch their ticket to the Super Bowl if they keep up this season. That'll do it for us here at the House 67 Sports Roundtable. Jason Fridge, Ryan Chybinski, Eddie Martins, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Go Birds.